That's the same dinner as yesterday, except for cauliflower. I put cauliflower as well as the other stuff there.
Mixed veggies, maybe
Yep.
to call it. It's kind of a casserole of mixed veggies,
It's an
right?
assortment of things. So,
Yeah.
well, it's Adventures of Wonderland. I'm going to talk about it a little more. I'm also going to talk about these videos a little bit. And it looks like James is going to talk about Ezra Pound again.
You could call it Adventures in Blunderland.
Yeah. So, we'll see how this goes. I had planned on talking about all these things yesterday when we had our dinner, but I ran out of time. So I just ended up talking about these first three. So I will mention that yesterday I talked about Alice in Wonderland, and I was talking about the 10 best-selling novels, or like fiction books, whatever. And Alice in Wonderland, this is number 6. But I think it was it in the back of, was it the, afterward that the Anna South gave in this? Or was it in this book that I found it? That said it was the first, it was the bestseller of all children's books.
I can't
All
recall
time.
that.
Okay, then it must have been in this one that I read it.
6th in a list.
Yeah, in the one yesterday. But in this one, so that's including books for adults, right? It's
Yeah.
number 6. But
Number 1 was
number 1 for
Don
children.
Quixote.
Yeah.
Number 1 for children.
Yeah.
So they weren't counting Harry Potter as for kids, strictly speaking.
That didn't get.
Oh, in there, okay.
It was number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's. I guess not. I guess they didn't.
Well, not really kids.
Because otherwise, unless this was put together, if Anna South put together this thing before Harry Potter, that's possible. I don't think so. I think, well, this is the edition, this edition first published 2009, so I think Harry
Potter's got to have been out by then.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm just going by what I read. So,
anyway, it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. So it's one of those must-reads. And it, like I was saying yesterday, it doesn't take very long. This contains both books. Both the Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass and what you saw there. So, yeah, it's it doesn't take long to go through. And it's fun. James and I were reading, like I would read one chapter and then he'd read one and back and forth. And
it tended to work out that way, huh?
Yep.
There were a few days there where I was feeling a little under the weather. Not really under the weather, but kind of like I am now. But I went through a treatment today. Sometimes I feel a little bit, have a little bit of indigestion after the treatment.
Well, my headache's not as bad as it was last night.
I knew you had
so
one, and that's why I was surprised.
I went to the library and I got some work done, but I made some mistakes. I put out a blog post. I wrote, I wanted to find out, I wanted to understand how the telegraph cipher worked out, because he invented it. So that's Dodgson's own invention, was the telegraph cipher. And I couldn't make heads or tails of it in here, in the book, which honestly, I think Penguin should have done better and gave an explanation for how it worked, really, but whatever. So I looked it up online, and there's somebody that has a site where you can put what you want to write in and get the message in the telegraph cipher, and I still don't understand it. I'll have to go back and try to figure it out, because like I used my keyword fox, and I thought, okay, well then it's going to come out the same as his, right? But my keyword fox came out AAA, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So before it was in his poem it was JII or something. Yeah. And I was like, how can it be different if it's the same keyword? So I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works at all. Anyway, so and I need to fix it anyway, because when I was writing my my poem, and I put it, and I misspelled his name. I just, I had a headache. It's very hard to think with a headache and
It's hard to
get
do
anything.
really.
Yeah. So I have to fix it, but I managed to get some stuff done today. That's great. So, Hellboy, the Crooked Man. This was an enjoyable movie. It's nothing like the
Original.
the Hellboy movies that were out and we all loved them. Everyone loved them. Whatever with
It
Ron
used to be a
Perlman.
comic book, right?
I guess so,
Never
but
saw
I
it.
don't know anything about that. But yeah, I don't think they could ever get anybody as good as Ron Perlman for that.
Yep.
He really worked for it. It was great.
That was
But whatever, this is a different thing because that one you had more humor and whatever. This one, more horror. There's not humor here. And honestly, I like the other more, but I like this one too. It's just different. And the special effects weren't as good, but I don't know. Anyway, it was enjoyable. Rick and Morty season 7. Shocking as always. And I don't know. It's probably made for 13, 14-year-olds, wouldn't you say?
Let's see, what is that?
Rick and Morty? You were listening to it.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potty mouth in it.
Yeah.
But it's not like kids' potty mouth. It's
No.
like something a barely turned teen might like.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy, I don't think.
Yeah, a guy, usually. Yeah, I would think a guy would be the target audience. 13, 14-year-old guy. The Marlow Murder Club season 1. I don't think the mystery was that great. It was okay. I mean, right away I'm like, oh yeah, I can see where this is going. And so it's really not a shock. And one thing though, I don't know why they didn't get a thin woman to play the dog walker. Because the dog walker, yeah, I mean she's a
You'd
professional
have to
dog walker. What is she doing? That she's overweight. I don't understand that. That doesn't make any
She's
sense.
doing phantom walks. When
Yeah.
security guards working nighttime shift aren't doing patrols, they're just writing down that they did one. They call it a phantom patrol. So, phantom dog walk. That's
Yeah.
the only explanation.
Yeah. So anyway, they could have done better. The Equalizer season 4. This is dreadful. The show is just absolutely dreadful. I don't know why they keep making it. I guess some people like Queen Latifah enough that they'll watch this, but
Well,
it's not good. And I do like, one thing I liked about it was how they handled the text messages. They have it at the bottom of the screen and they have it typing along as though you're reading it as though it's being typed along. That's very witty. That's it. So go ahead and talk about Ezra Pound. I'm done.
well, I'm going to talk about a few other stuff.
Oh, are you?
Stuff that's been on the radar.
Oh.
Like Donald Trump.
Oh,
He went on another rant.
oh, did he?
Someone I know was saying recently that Donald Trump was, I kind of like this guy, I really like the guy. But he was saying Donald Trump is, Biden was, and Obama were cowards and Donald Trump's brave. Donald Trump's been threatening Canada, 25% tariff. He's actually, yesterday or something like that, he was saying Canada should be made into a state. That sort of stuff.
Oh man, a lot of people are gonna love that.
It would be harder for Donald Trump to cheat in elections because Canadians, I think, would be a little less prone to vote for an idiot like that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm hungry, but I'm feeling a little nauseous. For some reason or other, I'm figuring the nuts will go down more easily than some other things. Anyway, hey Donnie,
Me,
you
darling.
big bully. You know, it's not brave to be picking on a country that's 1/10 of power, as Canada is the United States. Economic power. You're just bullying.
Well, there's a lot of people in Alberta who would actually like to be a state of the United States.
But they're stupid. If the United States smartens up a little bit, maybe. I mean, we do some stupid things. We're more open to
Well, I was
stupid
looking,
people
I noticed at
immigrating
the
in.
library, there's going to be an election in Canada.
Well, Trudeau
Yeah,
resigned yesterday.
Oh,
I
I
don't know if
see.
you heard about that.
No, I did not. I just saw
It won't be in January, it'll be
it
in March.
says, oh, really?
Well, they don't have elections in the wintertime.
Well,
They
I
don't-
think it says January 24th at the library.
Well, maybe something weird happened. But, because
Why did
in
he
Canada,
resign?
well, he's really unpopular, and so there's always people in the party who figure they should be leading. So they started. Well, his finance minister resigned instead of off. Made a huge stink about it. So they always want to lead the party because hey, they're still kind of like in control of Parliament. So why wouldn't they want to be prime minister? And they all tend to think, hey, like it's Trudeau's fault that the Liberal Party's so unpopular. The reason why the Liberal Party's so unpopular is because they're doing NDP policies.
Yeah.
Okay? And the big policy that's causing all the trouble is just out of control immigration. Letting people come in when they're not qualified to be in a democracy. You got to have some skills to be in a democracy. When they're too high of a percentage of them are violent. When you're letting in just huge numbers of people, and your housing market, for example, can't handle it. So you end up with basically the same supply, but way too much demand.
Well, in the job market too, I mean, they've been creating jobs, like we see way more security guards around to handle the way more drug dealers around.
Hey,
but
the drug dealers are handling them, let me tell you. There was I tend to pick up my cheese over at Save-On. And there's one security guard I really like there. He's from the Punjab. Eastern Punjab, not Western Punjab. So he's a Sikh, or Sikh. They tend to say it's Sikh. But I say Sikh because people might misinterpret it. Yeah.
Sure.
He's a sick person.
Yeah.
So he was saying
Very handsome.
one of his confers, I think they have 3 security guards there. They probably work something like a shift
There's
system.
nothing.
He was saying one of his security guards got hit on the head by a homeless person with a stick and a nail in the stick.
Oh no.
Blood all over the place. So
Is the guy okay?
well, I saw him last
Okay.
time I was over.
Oh,
Save-On.
so this is that guy. that got
The
hit.
sick guy was mentioning
Oh.
that one of his confreres, one of his
Yeah, but
colleagues.
is that guy okay?
Well, I saw him. He's back at work.
Oh,
Last time I was at. That's hard to follow.
yes, I am.
And
I'm having a time following.
of course you're not feeling well
No.
on top of that. And I'm not explaining that well, but yeah. So he got hit on the head. Understand?
Yeah.
It wasn't. And he showed me something on his smartphone or whatever, and he had a big bandage on his head. It looked almost like a turban. It looked
Right.
almost like a Sikh himself. And yeah, he showed me a picture of it was like a gap in his head. I was thinking, where I can see the skull? I don't think I did, but
Wow.
there was they had the big turban-like bandage on his head, and then there was blood down his face and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What happened was a homeless person was peeing up against the building. Someone complained, legitimately. I mean, this is where people buy food.
Yeah.
There could be kids there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes people have to pee in public. Go around back or something like that. Don't go. People can see. Gosh almighty. Anyway, the security guard did his job. He's got to do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, the homeless shelter is way too close to there. You know, it's just 3 blocks away. Am I
Yeah, and the
exaggerating?
soup kitchen too. They're both closed.
Oh, there's all
Right?
sorts of
There's
stuff.
all sorts of places
Yeah.
you could go.
And of course, they've got their supervised overconsumption site there too. It's kind of where it
Is it
should
still
have.
there?
Okay. They moved it as a mobile van, and it was one, and now the problem's so bad they're talking about they've already made it 2. You know, so there's 2 of them, mobile vans and stuff like that. And this security guard might have got it right. I suspect he did. You know, like it was run by the province or something like that when they had the official supervised overconsumption site, and it wasn't a mobile van, right? And, something like that, general neighborhood. But now, guess who's taken it over? According to him, he could have got it wrong. Standoff. If your standoff is going to be running it, have it in standoff.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It has to
And
be.
theoretically, it shouldn't be run by standoff if it's for everyone.
Yeah.
It kind of suggests that the vast majority of people doing overdoping
it gives
are.
Native people a bad reputation.
What are you guys thinking?
Yeah.
Stupid stuff. But yeah, believe me, it doesn't make natives popular here. And the whole thing is not making natives unpopular. Now, natives are doing some amazing things now. One native was telling me, he's a really nice guy. He was saying, or indigenous person, whatever the term is. And he was saying, this was just before COVID, the cartel has moved into a blood reserve. And I was going, oh, that's awful. But it turns out he kind of thought that was good, because he said that'll keep the militias of beating up native people in line. And I'm saying, yeah. And then once they do that, they'll keep the native people in line, beating them up. Because that's what cartels do. They don't exist to run charities or anything like that. Or run a police service to protect people.
They're actually better off with the
militias.
With the white people, because a lot of the white people are God-fearing. And
understand, they're talking in Mexico about taking on the cartels, making it a war. And indigenous people, you don't want to be on the side of the cartels when, I'm not saying if, when people declare war up here on the cartels. You'll be on the wrong side. The majority of my nephews and nieces are more than 50% indigenous. I don't want them on the wrong side of that stuff. You guys understand? Anyway, yeah, he got dumped, and it's pretty bad. This stuff spills over into the neighborhood. Huh? Gosh almighty. Supervised overconsumption side, a few other things I want to talk about. Good news. I don't know how long it's going to last. Donald Trump's talking about actually sending troops into Panama because he figures it's controlled by China. And he's saying there are too many Chinese ships and too many Russian ships. What are you talking about? You're a Putin pigeon, you stupid chimp.
It must be why my angels want me writing this book right now. Because just hearing that news from you.
About?
The supervised overconsumption site. That's figured in my book too.
This guy was saying, and you know it's true, that
well, I knew it was going to happen.
Lots of people came in from places like Stand Up, and they haven't gone back after they closed down the big official supervised overconsumption site. Really, really bad move.
Yeah. No, they should have one in Standoff, run by the people in Standoff.
Run by the people.
And one here, run by people in the city here, or whatever.
They shouldn't be supervising.
Well, honestly, I don't think that they should exist anyway. So I'm not a fan of those things.
Well,
they're a way for public tax dollars to go to drug dealers.
Well,
they're just working for drug dealers.
The way it's set up, drugs should be actually on a prescription.
Yeah.
Covered by Blue Cross. Up to a certain point, I guess. I mean, up to a point that people are going to take drugs and they're going to kill themselves. So how much more can they take? Right?
Yeah.
I don't think you'd have to worry about that. So that cut the drug dealers out, and the illegal ones. And then things like fentanyl, you got to kind of save people, because what's going to happen is they're going to do it out in the street. Then they're going to have to get rushed to emergency, all this kind of stuff. So they might as well have the emergency stuff there. But I don't like it. There's no way they should be, as they were doing at the supervised overconsumption site, administering or allowing people to administer themselves amphetamines on site. I don't want people walking to, especially from, a site where they're doping themselves on speed. I don't want speed freaks. We can see them. They're doing the Charlie Manson chicken dance. Remember I was saying, those guys don't look like they've been on, this is before I heard the news about them having mission creep. Those would be idiots doing the amphetamines and doing the Charlie Manson chicken dance all the way down the street. And the big trouble is, they don't take a fancy to you, you could wind up dead. No, it's a different fentanyl. No. Yeah, people are doing opioids. Yeah, maybe there's a role for something like that, but it's got to be in a particular place. What I'd like to see is 24/7, 52 homeless centers.
Yeah, they can
not
just stay
near downtown. You don't like being there, then, and you're doing vagrancy. Well, you can go into jail. So you can pick your poisons.
Yeah.
You go to a place where you have TV, have internet, all that sort of stuff. So folks who are homeless people aren't doing internet in the library, where theoretically you could have kids next door to them. Yeah. And what else are they doing? They've kind of cleaned it up, but they've had to be tough. But they were doing dope deals right in the library, right under people's noses.
And I don't think they are anymore. But even since the security guards they're doing a great job, but I mean, man, they have a lot of security in the library, and
it costs money.
Exactly, and so.
And it's dangerous. They've got women handling it. I don't know. Are they wearing the flak jacks, the Kevlar, whatever?
Oh, I doubt it.
The guys in Superstore wear flak jackets.
Oh, really?
Oh. Well,
in Save-On.
In Save-On. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, Save-On.
That's amazing.
That's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? We live in a different world, and unfortunately, a lot of this has been engineered. It's antisocial, not social engineering, by misguided left-wingers. They're not really left-wingers.
Yeah, because, you don't just let
solutions.
A whole bunch of immigrants in without really making sure that they're a good fit.
Yeah, I don't believe in respect of persons, respect of persons of colors, or whatever. If you can't let Nazis in, you can't let any number other people of color in. You don't shut Nazis out just because they're white. You shut out people who are like Nazis, and that includes commies, that includes fundamentalist Muslims, and that's not just supporters of ISIS or Al-Qaeda. There are way too many people out there who believe in Sharia law and imposing it on non-Muslims. That's what happens. People don't understand. That's what's happening when they drive trucks into crowds of celebrants on New Year's Eve. The whole idea is, hey, they're drinking. That's not right. That's against Sharia law. Yeah. And they're imposing Sharia law by vigilante justice. That's what it is, vigilante terrorist justice, in places like Germany, in places like New Orleans. That's one place that got hit. We're still hearing about the one. We're waiting for what happened. It sounded like a German kind of name of the guy, but he, I think, knew the Muslim guy. They'd been in the army together in Afghanistan. I'm wondering if he's a Muslim convert. It happens every so occasionally. There was the shoe bomber who, did he have red hair or something like that? Anyway, he wanted to take down a plane, and he was caught. I think he was so stupid. People say, hey, why is this shoe smoke?
Oh my God.
There's no smoking on plane, even for shoes.
Yeah.
Anyway, some people very misguided people convert to Islam. You know, it's the fastest growing religion in the world, but generally it's not by conversion, it's by just huge, irresponsible population growth.
But yeah, anyway.
Anyway, lots of things to talk about. We're not getting around as a pound, I can tell.
Oh, I suppose.
Because, well, there is good news. I was going to talk about P-and, we'll call him, Putin. But you know the expression. Remember when he invaded Ukraine the second time? In other words, he'd already taken enough of it. He's like Hitler, you know. Like when you feed a guy like Putin or like Hitler pieces of territory, it only whets his appetite. You understand? So they divided up Czechoslovakia, and that wasn't enough for both. So he eventually took it all over. The Slovaks actually cooperated with him, collaborated. But yeah, remember I was saying Putin's got too many irons in the fire, and he's going to start losing more and more of his Russian empire. So just recently, he lost Syria.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they had two, count them two, the coast on the Mediterranean shared by Syria is quite small, but apparently the Russians they had at least one, but I think it's two naval bases there. Hey, Putin, in order to get into the Mediterranean and muck around in there, and yeah, maybe I'm using rhyming slang when I say muck, you're going to have to go through the Black Sea, and you'll have to arrange that with Turkey. Not that Turkey's that nice either. But I was hearing in the news, I was going to turn up one day at the library to get you to check on it. They were saying, I think in the Kursk province, Kursk is in Russia, the Ukrainians have got tanks in Russia.
Oh, wow.
Go, Ukrainians, go. Now, I'd love it if it were Kursk itself.
Well, you know, I would love it if Putin would just settle down. Because honestly, he should be on the side of Europe and Canada and the United States. He should be democratizing. Yeah.
The real problem in the world, like this is just a wee small thing, unless it ends up in a nuclear holocaust. By comparison with what's happening,
he's down our wealth so that we'll have a harder time fighting off China.
China. Yeah. It's like location. That's the problem for the world. You know, the stupid African nations, just two generations after they got rid of the colonialists, so-called colonialists, they've got the, you know, well, it wasn't really but it's not really, what the Europeans had was not paleo-imperialism. It wasn't like the ancient Assyrians, it wasn't like the Romans. But someone once said about the Romans, and it's pretty accurate, that they turned a place into a wasteland and they called it peace.
Yeah.
And
well, that'll happen first, really. The Middle East will be fighting with Europe and Canada and the United States.
Well, they're fighting.
That'll weaken.
They're fighting with China, and all China.
And then China will have no problem.
Well, exactly right. I mean, the whole thing is designed for civil war. We've always had multiculturalism, and it's caused war. And now these stupid, misguided, so-called self-styled left-wingers are wanting to bring in multiculturalism and bring civil war into the democracies, and that is absolute treason.
Because the NDP, really, they're the party for multiculturalism now, not for workers, and they're not working for workers at all. It's by bringing in a whole bunch of immigrants, they're doing just the opposite. They're working for hardcore capitalists.
And you know,